Yes, yes, you are. You are tuned into the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. It's Thursday, August 8th, 2025, and we are equipping the Saints. We're streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on X. We're streaming on YouTube, and we're streaming on that social media platform that begins with a F, but we don't like saying the name because they censor. And of course, we're always streaming at the mothership, WYAB.com. You know, a gentle answer turns away wrath, and a harsh word incites anger. And today we are going to be dropping some knowledge. I am so honored and blessed to be joined once again by my good friend, Lieutenant Colonel Larry Brock Jr., United States Air Force retired, A-10 guy, stand-up gentleman, survivor of the J6 Gulag in Washington, D.C. Colonel, are you there, sir? Colonel, are you there, sir?
I am. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful and blessed. Wonderful and blessed. Not sure what the delay was right there. Hey, sir, it's been a while since we've had you on. I've been following you closely. I know you got great things going on, and just wanted to have you back on the program to see how you're getting on past your pardon and talk about some of the stuff that you're getting ready to roll into in Texas. First of all, let's just see what have you been up to the last 3 or 4 months?
Well, it's been an interesting slog since the pardon. I obviously wrote the FAA and said I would like my pilot's licenses back. They said, we'll help you, but you have to get off the terrorism list that the Department of Homeland Security had. So they helped me get off of that list. It's basically just two strongly worded letters from me, and I got off that list and I got my pilot's licenses back. And then when I went to get the FAA medical, a mid-level clerk up in Oklahoma City decided that they needed to not give me my license based off my participation in January the 6th. They didn't respond, so I got Congressman Brandon Gill and Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne's offices involved, and they sorted the issue for me. So just last week, I actually received my FAA medical in the mail. So now I can finally get back to my trade that I've practiced my whole life. But of course, I'm 4 years out of practice now. So I've got to get current again flying the 737. I also had to use political pull to get my inspector license back. So my life is coming back together, but it's slow and you have to fight an uphill battle at every opportunity. Like most Texans, well, not most Texans, but like a lot of Texans, when the flooding in Kerrville happened, I jumped in my truck on Monday, got down there and walked the banks of the Guadalupe, looking for, I was hoping to find, a potential victim of that flood, but we didn't find anyone. The team I was with found a deceased person from there. But so I did that and did what I could to help down there. So again, it's been a very interesting time in my life, a lot going on. And then I made the decision to announce and run for Texas State Representative. My campaign kickoff was on June the 8th, so I've been busy doing that as well. So a lot of balls in the air, but all good things. Again, I can't tell you, Andrew, how good it feels to be free, to be able to exercise my Second Amendment rights again, to know that I have the ability to vote. As a matter of fact, I did vote in a runoff election in May. So again, I just feel privileged again to have my rights as an American restored to me.
Yep. Colonel, I couldn't agree with you more. For those of us who have gone down range and served, we treasure our freedom a little more, but I couldn't imagine the things that you've had to endure and for you to have your freedom back. I can just hear it in your voice. It's awesome. It's special. I'm sitting here looking at Larry Brock for Texas, and I see the state of Texas, beautiful with the A-10 on there. You want to tell people where they can kind of look you up on the internet and find out more about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So LarryBrockForTexas.com is where my campaign website is. It's where the 5 things that I want to do for Texans are the first thing there. And then I kept a couple of videos from my old website so that you could see what I actually did inside the Capitol on January the 6th. And so you can see what I said about our country on the day that I got out of Joe Biden's gulag.
Yep.
So that's there for everyone to see. I'm also on X. I host a daily space called The Reckoning from 11 to 12. Mississippi time or Texas time as well.
Yep.
Every day where I talk politics Monday through Friday, and then a Texas space usually on Wednesday nights. We did not host one last night because the chairman of the Republican Party of Texas was speaking, and I wanted to listen to what he had to say. So that's where I'm at online. The campaign is going well. The issue is crystal clear in the minds of the voters. They want real property tax relief, and the incumbent I'm running against has not delivered that to them in the 9 years that he has been in office. It is time for him to go. It's time for somebody that can go in and actually deliver for Texas.
Yep. One thing that's really resonating here in Mississippi and is happening in Texas is the flight of the representatives. What is your sense of the feeling on the ground about all of these state representatives who ran off to New York, Massachusetts, Illinois to devoid the state or the state house of a quorum?
Well, there's a lot of times when Republicans were in the minority that we had to continue to play ball. That's the way a republic works. And so for them to do what they're doing and break quorum is honestly dereliction of duty. It is reprehensible behavior. In my mind, there is nothing valiant about it. They are thwarting the will of the people of Texas, and they are breaking their oaths that they took when they swore in as legislators. Added to that, by fleeing the state and accepting funds to avoid voting, that is the very definition of quid pro quo. So they are, in effect, taking bribes from these Democratic NGOs and Democratic organizations to avoid redistricting. So I believe they should be met with criminal penalties of bribery, and their seats should be vacated. There is a motion that goes in front of SCOTEX, Supreme Court of Texas, on Friday to get rid of Gene Wu, the leader of the Democratic Party. But in reality, the Attorney General, I believe, is where that power is vested in. So it's going to be his office that moves to strip the seats from these Democrats that have fled by Friday.
Wow, Texas is truly at the tip of the spear right now, and the state's attorney in Texas is Ken Paxton. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Hopefully, he's our current attorney general, and hopefully future senator.
That's right, because he's going up against Cornyn. Man, Texas is leading
Yes,
the whole
sir.
way in all of this.
Absolutely. It is a good fight to have. We've seen California, we've seen Illinois, we've seen Massachusetts gerrymander their districts to where there are very few, if any, Republicans, and certainly below the population and it's represented, especially if you look at Illinois. 43% of the people voted for President Trump, yet only 17% of their congressional delegates are Republicans. So again, turnabout is fair play, and we're seeing them whine about us doing the very things they have already done to us.
It's amazing, where I lived in Illinois, my district got chopped up 3 times, and each time they just drew in more of Chicago, and then they do these little splinters. It's almost like getting like a radar swath, a field of view, yep. And they just start at the core, which is Chicago, and they just splinter out. And we're going to talk about that later. And with the new maps that are coming up in Texas, do they look like what's going on in Illinois? Or are they more centralized?
Honestly, they're a little bit more centralized. That's what's strange to me is it looks less gerrymandered than the ones we have now. Now, something, that I don't know that you've considered, but, I am quite certain that AI drew these maps. I am certain they know exactly, with predictive analysis, how the voting is going to go. And that's why, President Trump is confident that by redrawing these maps, we'll get an additional 5 seats. I've been told that there are slightly more aggressive maps that lower the Republican majority in some districts that would yield 8 seats. And then there's some maps that would yield about 3. They opted for 5 because they felt it was legally defensible in what they were doing. Added to that, there was a recent court case that said racially gerrymandering districts is no longer lawful.
Yep.
So we are merely complying with law from the Supreme Court. So Texas is entitled to do what it's doing. It's fixing the racially gerrymandered districts from the past. So we're obeying the court. So there is no reason. The Democrats have absolutely no leg to stand on. This is purely performative and political on their part to try and raise campaign funds.
Yep, I completely agree with that. They are on a campaign contribution kick. And, J.B. Pritzker is one of the richest men in America. He's got a lot of dough, and he's looking to run for president himself. So it'll be interesting to see what ultimately pans out of there. Have you heard about the new census that President Trump is talking about, taking a new census?
Yeah, I have. I've heard that today. I find that very interesting. Now, my understanding, Andrew, and it's been a while. I would say probably about a year since I've read it, but I believe the census is called for inside the Constitution. That would occur every 10 years. So I don't know what that's going to do, other than I do like the idea of setting a baseline right now, a real baseline that excludes all the illegals that have invaded our country. So, that way we can see what it will actually look like in the 2030 census. But, it's becoming increasingly clear to me just how critical the 2026 midterm is, so that we get 4 full years of President Trump. And then 2028, we have to follow this up with a win, or it's going to be even worse next time if we wind up with a Democratic president.
And honestly, Larry, this is why people like you in the races that you run are so critical, that we get good constitutional conservative men and women into office at these lower levels, so that you have time to validate to the independents, to the people who perhaps don't follow politics so often, say, look, the Republicans are doing what we're going to do. We just had an election yesterday, a special election in Mississippi, where they had to redraw some maps, and a very good conservative man upset it more, what they would call an establishment senator, a female senator, and it can work. You don't have to run as an incumbent or an establishment to make a difference, as long as you're running the race that you can afford the time and energy and resources to go ahead and win. And dude, I just think you're doing a great job, man. And I've been watching you on X. I've been watching you as you do your daily streams, and I'm just so excited and grateful that you're stepping up. You're at the tip of the spear. What else do you have? Do you have any other things that you want to let people know what you're doing, how they can stay in contact with you?
Well, obviously, you can contact me on X and follow me on X. I post everything there. I did manage to, on the advice of my campaign consultant, put together a Facebook page. I'm not a fan of Meta and Mark Zuckerberg, but Larry Brock for HD106 is the Facebook page. But what I'm really trying to do, honestly, is get into office and do some good for the American people. Politicians always talk a good game, and it seems that when they get into office, they never follow through. I promise you, I am not that guy. I have been tested by fire. I had the whole weight of the U.S. Justice Department falling down on me, trying to get me to plead guilty. And I did not cave to that pressure when my freedom is on the line, and I will not cave to lobbyist pressure. Texans need property tax relief, and I intend to deliver it to them, working with other good conservative legislators that we have down there. The Texas House is a mess. You see it. You talked about Brian Harrison, you and I have offline. We need 10 to 15 good conservative Republicans like myself, and we will flip the Texas House to where we will make it scarlet red. We will set the example. We will set a conservative agenda, but to do that, we have to rid ourselves of some of these swamp rat Republicans that have been down there a long time. And that's, one of those Republicans. I am running against him, and, I believe I can beat him if I'm adequately funded. That's the only thing that will stop me from succeeding, because I promise you, I will put in the work. I've got the team. I'm going to get the endorsements in time. It's just a matter of securing the funding necessary to beat him. And he knows it, which is why he's scared.
Well, we talked offline about some of the plans and tactics that you're implementing, and it really sounds good from a political point of view. It's always good to have a candidate who's out there, not just going around in the back rooms and shaking a few hands and doing a few events, but when you're out there on the streets meeting the people, it just builds that rapport. You never know the next person you meet who's going to go talk to the neighbor and said, hey, I ran into Larry Brock just the other day. He's a great dude. Well, there's your next vote. That's awesome, Colonel Brock. I am so grateful and thankful that we've got men like you who have served so honorably. I do have one question that is not politically involved, but is both near and dear to you and myself. The mighty A-10, thoughts on that possibly going away by the end of this year or next?
Well, it's an expensive weapon system. I don't know that we will be able to survive in the next drone war, but they said we weren't going to be able to survive for the last 30 years, in a near peer war. The Air Force has long sought to get rid of it, but there is nothing still that can replace it. So I don't think that that's a wise move. I don't think the Army and Marine Corps would support that. And I think it's a little bit short-sighted. I think there always has to be in our inventory a plane designed specifically to support the soldier on the ground. That is a lesson that we've learned in blood time after time after time. And I don't know why the Air Force is not heeding the lessons learned over since aviation was born in the early 1900s. So again, it bothers me a lot. But I'm not running for the United States Congress, but I certainly made my opinion known to my congressman, and I don't like it at all. And I hope soldiers and Marines speak up about that.
Yeah, I am a big fan of the A-10, and I know time marches on and everything, but sometimes there's just a platform that's out there that just transcends all the different types of AORs that we're encountering. And I saw the A-10 on your sign there, dude, I was like, oh, I got to ask Larry about that. Sir, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're getting ready to go on air yourself. And if you want to get in touch with Colonel Larry Brock Jr., you can just hit him up on X. It's at Larry Brock Jr. And he's also on the internet. You can find him on his website at LarryBrock4Texas.com, FOR, not the number 4. And Colonel Brock, thank you so much for giving us 25 minutes of your time today. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you again for having me on. You always have a great show, so I appreciate it.
Brother, take care. We'll talk again soon.
You bet. God bless you.
God bless you too. That was Lieutenant Colonel Larry Brock Jr., everybody. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
All right, Andrew, I'm going to beg off. Thank you again for having me on. I appreciate it.
To 103.9 WYAB.
Antique Mall of the South has 14,000 square feet of pristine, clean floor space. Home to beautiful, timeless antique treasures. Antique Mall of the South is open Monday to Saturday, 10 to 5. Check them out online at antiquemallofthesouth.com or go to the Antique Mall of the South Facebook page. You can also read the dozens of 5-star reviews online. Come see for yourself at Antique Mall of the South in Ridgeland. Now open Monday to Saturday, 10 to 5. That's Antique Mall of the South, Highway 51 in Ridgeland.
Whether new construction or remodeling, Stephen Arrington and his team at Elite Custom Construction can design and build your dream kitchen and cabinets, inside and outside. Using high-quality products, Elite Custom Construction specializes in cabinetry and intricate millwork. Established in 2011, licensed and insured, Elite Custom Construction is your solution to your next project. Call Stephen at 601-927-0552 or visit them online at elitecustomconstruction.net.
Hi, it's Jackson author Jeff Pettigo, and I've written a satirical novel you should read called City Zoo, an Unfairy Story, a witty Orwellian animal fable about the lying fake news media. What happens is a former circus elephant runs for animal zookeeper, and all the monkeys in the zoo's fairy tale news media go crazy trying to take him out. Sounds familiar. It's the perfect pop culture satire for the beach. Learn more about the novel City Zoo at cityzoo.us. cityzoo.us.
Your roof is constantly exposed to the elements, battling dirt, algae, and stains. But with Watkins Construction and Roofing Roof Wash Service, you can keep it looking like new. A proprietary rooficide treatment is EPA approved, safe, and guaranteed to prevent algae from coming back for at least 2 years. No harsh chemicals, no damage, no black streaks. Just a clean, beautiful roof that lasts. Call Watkins Construction and Roofing at 601-966-8233 or visit nomoreroofstains.com today.
Doctor, AC Doctor, what's your diagnosis? My whole house was hot as a fever. Now my house frozen. Cause my air conditioning's on. Doctor, doctor, my AC's broken. Doctor, doctor, the AC doctor, heal my house, bless my soul.
The AC Doctors is your one-stop provider for air conditioning and heating installation, service, and repair. Contact us for money-saving repairs and lower energy bills.
Doctor, doctor, the AC doctor, heal my house, bless my soul.
Google the AC Doctors and get some relief today. TheACDR.com.
Men, if you answer yes to any of these questions, you could be suffering from low testosterone. Do you have low sex drive? ED, always tired, depressed, loss of muscle mass, obese, loss of focus and drive? You, my friends, need to get your numbers checked. Check out Men's Health of Mississippi, located in Madison, Mississippi, and online at menshealthms.com. Guys, get your numbers checked today. Trust me, she'll thank you for it. I promise. menshealthms.com. Men's Health of Mississippi.
Here's a tip for buyers from RE/MAX Connection real estate agent Rita Jensen.
Buyers need to be ready. Start your mortgage process. If you're not paying cash and your mortgage, you need to go ahead and start that before you ever go look at a house. You walk into a house and you fall in love with it, and that's the one you want. You've not even started the process, and there may be multiple bids on it, and other people are sending pre-qualifying letters with their offers, then you're dead in the water. You offer what you are willing to pay for this property, and know that if you don't get it, you're okay with that. You can walk away.
RitaJensen.net.
And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show at 103.9 WYAB. It's always good to talk to Lieutenant Colonel Larry Brock. He's doing a great job down there. You know, he's a tried and tested and true leader, whether that be over the skies of Afghanistan, whether that be in the DC Gulag, or whether it be in Texas. And the thing that I want to, I try to find people like Lieutenant Colonel Larry Brock. They're very far and few between, but these are people who are stepping up. People like Don Hartness out in Jones County. They step up and they do the right thing, even if they know they might take a hit.
People like Don Hartness,
and we need to continue to promote those people and show that you can do things that are impacting your community. And you know,
and we need to continue to promote those people.
School board seat, or it's just a county supervisor, or it's just a state rep. Those are big positions. That's how we build the bench to move forward.
Seat, or it's just a county supervisor.
It was just so fascinating to me because the things that are happening in Texas will affect us.
And
this map redistricting, this story is so huge.
That are happening in Texas,
and it affects me personally because I watched my house district in Illinois get stolen from me in 2008
because I watched
when they said that they were going to redistrict
in Illinois
our sitting congressman out there
in 2008.
And we ended up going to a blue district because they took this slice of Chicago and ran it all the way out to us. And it stinks.
We ended up going to a blue district.
You know, it's a strange day in America when you are actually agreeing with somebody like
and it stinks.
Colbert.
And you know, it's a strange day in
to
America.
His credit, he talks about Illinois in the gerrymandering of districts,
Colbert.
And it's so good. I thought I would actually play it for you. It's all right. It's going to be good. This is Stephen Colbert and Governor J.B. Pritzker.
It's so good.
Illinois. Take a look at this. Look at 17 here. It does that.
Stephen Colbert,
then it comes up here and it sneaks around there and goes all the way up here, and then goes right over there like that.
It does that.
What you are watching?
It sneaks around there and goes all the way up here.
If you didn't see the map that I tweeted out the other day of the Illinois districts, you really should, because this is exactly what Democrats do.
Out the other day of the
they draw districts, and you just see these long lines where they go and they eat up all this rural area, and then they just put a little sliver of an urbanized area that has a high population density that is nothing like what
then
the
they just put a
district
little
should be.
sliver of an
And
urbanized
there
area
you go.
that has a
It's
high
just
population
completely
density
gerrymandered, but it gets better.
is nothing like
And
what
look
the
at look
district
at
should
look
be.
at this one kind of go whoop,
And
up there.
you go.
It's like the
just
stinger on a
completely gerrymandered,
scorpion
but it gets
down
better.
here. Is this common for all states to
look at
do?
this one kinda go We
whoop,
handed it
up
over to a
there.
kindergarten class and
It's
let
like
them
the stinger
decide.
on a scorpion
Okay,
down here.
that's the not.
Is
That's
this
the.
common for all
That
states to do?
is
We
so
handed it over to a
JB
kindergarten
Pritzker.
class and let them decide.
I mean, Illinois is run
that's
so
the-
horribly.
that's
You might have been an even better job if the
is
kindergartners
so
actually
JB
would have done it, because
Pritzker.
they could probably color in
I
the
mean,
lines a lot better than that.
Illinois is
The
run so
nonpartisan
horribly.
group that does this for you
Absolutely.
guys?
That's our independent commission. You know, that is, yeah. I mean, look,
So because all states to a certain extent do this,
commission, you know.
why is what Texas doing
that is,
particularly
yeah,
egregious
I mean,
in this
look,
case?
well, here,
So because
every 10 years we do a
all
census in
states
this
to a certain
country,
extent do
and
this, why is what
right after the
Texas
census,
doing
we
particularly
redraw
egregious
districts
in
in
this
every
case?
state. But
Every
what the
10 years
Republicans
we
are
do a
trying to do, and the
census in
Texas
this country,
Republicans,
And
frankly, at the
right after
behest
the
of
census,
Donald
we
Trump,
redraw districts in
are
every
doing
state.
it mid
what the Republicans are
decade.
trying to do, and the
That
Texas
is
Republicans,
extraordinarily rare.
That's
frankly,
an
at the
important point because
behest of
I
Donald
think
Trump,
he
are
literally
doing it
called them or wrote them and said, "Hey, I need
mid-decade.
5 seats."
That
Is
is
he dis-
So
extraordinarily rare.
there you
That's
go.
an important point, 'cause
It
he-
is rare
I
that
think
to
he
redistrict in the
literally
middle
called them or wrote them and
of
said,
the
"Hey, I need
census,
5
but
seats."
we just redistricted it here in Mississippi
It is
by the
rare
order
that
of the
to
judges,
redistrict in the middle
the kings
of
in black
the
robes.
census, but we just redistricted
So
it
what
here in
is actually
Mississippi
happening in
by the order of the
Texas
judges,
is rare.
the kings,
No one is
in
saying
black
that,
robes.
but if
So
the
what is actually
districts are
happening
not
in
drawn
Texas is rare.
appropriately,
No one is saying that.
the states have the power to
But
redraw those districts
if-
as long
if
as they're
the
following the rules within the
districts are not
state.
drawn
It's not like
appropriately,
Texas is going to redraw
the
districts and give
states have the
themselves
power to
4
redraw
extra
those districts
congressmen.
as long as they're following the rules
They're
within
still
the
going to
state.
have that capped off at
It's
whatever
not
level
like
that is. And
Texas is gonna
I'm not sure
redraw
how many
districts and give themselves 4
congressmen
extra
or
congressmen.
women Texas has.
They're still going to
You know,
have
we
that
have
capped off
4
at whatever
here in
level that is.
Mississippi,
And I'm not sure how many
plus 2 senators.
congressmen or women Texas
But
has.
it's just
You know, we have 4
becoming
here
the
in
great
Mississippi,
laughing stock
plus 2 senators.
of the entire country,
But
because
it's
these
just
people
becoming
who
the
are
great laughing stock
getting the tables
of
turned
the
on
entire
them,
country.
the shoe is now
Because
on the
these
other foot,
people
and they're whining and
who-
complaining
who
about it,
are
and they're running to the
getting
state that is the most
tables turned on them.
notorious.
The shoe is now on the other foot.
It's
and they're whining
outrageous
and complaining
how
about
bad
it, and they're running
Illinois
to
is.
the
And then they
state
go to New
that is
York
the
too,
most notorious.
and Kathy Hochul takes them to the
It's
governor's
outrageous
mansion, and they have
how
a nice
bad
fine
Illinois
dinner.
is. And then they go to New York too.
And everybody's saying, "Oh, we're
And Kathy
protecting
Hochul
right."
takes them to
No,
the
you're
governor's
just holding up the
mansion,
work of
and
the
they have a
people in
nice
the
fine
state
dinner.
of Texas.
And
And all of us
everybody's saying,
around
"Oh, we're
the
protecting
nation
it," right?
can
No,
see
you're
what's
just
going
holding up
on.
the
We
work
can
of the
see
people in the state
what's
of
happening in
Texas.
Texas, and say, is that going to happen
And
in
all of
Mississippi
us
too?
around the nation can see what's going
Are the
on.
things
We
that
can
the
see
state of Texas
what's
happening in
Texas.
Ohio?
Is that going to happen in Mississippi too?
And look, if Texas
Are the
does do
things that
this,
the state of
they're
Texas
saying
happening
other
in
states
Ohio?
will go ahead and do this. And I do have some more sound that I want to
And
play
look,
for
if
this
Texas
whole hour. I
does
really
do
want to
this,
focus on this
they're
redistricting
saying other
and
states will go
talking
ahead
about
and
how
do this. And I do have
this
some
play
more
that the
sound that I want to
Democrats are
play
making
for this whole
are
hour. I really want to
absolutely
focus on this
foolish.
redistricting
Absolutely foolish.
and talking about how
And
this play that the
it is going to
Democrats are
have
making
long-term
are
repercussions.
absolutely foolish.
You know, this all started
Absolutely
back in the
foolish.
90s when California and Illinois were the
And
original
it is going to have
masterminds
long-term
behind this
repercussions.
crazy line
You
drawing
know, this all started
out of
back in
control.
the 90s when California and Illinois were the
And now
original
it's just finally catching up
masterminds
to it.
behind
And
this
that's how life works.
crazy line drawing.
You know, you can
out of
cheat the
control.
system for so long, but eventually the system
And
zeroes
now
itself
it's just
out.
finally
It
catching up to
equalizes
it.
itself
And that's
out.
how life works.
And it's going
You know,
to
you
happen.
can cheat the system for so long, but eventually the
You're listening to
system
the Andrew Gossett
zeroes
Show on
itself out.
103.9
It
WYAB.
equalizes
We'll
itself
be
out.
right back.
And it's going to happen. You're listening to the Andrew Gossett Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back.
Go ahead.
Hey, I hate to bother you, but this is Willie. I just had something. I've been listening, and it's just crazy. I asked my wife the other day. She used to work at Frito-Lay, and I asked her, "Could you just walk off your job and decide you're going to just take a few days or a week off because you didn't like certain things?"
Hey, Willie,
And
will
she
you
said,
say that
"Yeah,
on
I
the
can,
radio?
But I won't have a job when I got back.
Willie, will you
what gives these
Willie, will you say that on the radio?
Texas, these Democrats, permission to go and just go where they want to? They should lose their job.
Yep. Hey, Willie, will you say that on the radio?
I would most definitely do that.
I'm going to put you on hold, and when we get back from the break, we're going to make it happen.
Okay. All right.
And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB, streaming on Rumble, streaming on X, streaming on YouTube, and streaming on that social media platform that begins with a F, but we don't say the name. And of course, the mothership, WYAB.com. On the line, we have Mr. Willie. Mr. Willie, are you there?
I am here.
Hey, Willie, before we get going, I think we need to have a new segment on the Andrew Gosser Show, and I just want to run it by you real quick before we get going. But this just came to me, and we need to call this segment the Wisdom with Willie segment, because what you are about to drop is so wise, and it's going to benefit and edify us all. So, Mr. Willie, the floor is yours.
Oh, yes. I was saying thank you. What I was paying attention to was those Democrats down in Texas. And my wife and I we were riding together, and I asked her a question. You know, she used to work at Frito-Lay. Hopefully, I didn't do anything wrong by saying the name of the company. But, and she asked, I said, could you have just walked off of your job and said, well, I'll be back in a week or so, you know, because I didn't like the way the manager would talk to me today. And she told me, she said, yeah, I kind of, but I wouldn't be able to come back because I'll be fired as of that time. And I was saying, well, what gives these people down at who's put in these positions, that's their job. You need to be on your job. And if you can't do your job, then you need to be fired.
Yep.
And I just cannot understand it. What authorized these people, not just Texas, any person political that in D.C. or anywhere else, to just do what they want to do? They go and it's not a crime for them to have to buy stock, under the table, knowing what's going to take place all the time. But they'll send me to jail. Insider trading.
Yep.
I would go to jail, but they're welcome. You know what? When Mr. Obama came out, and this bothered me because I was I'm a retiree militarily, and Mr. Obama came out with this thing, and what bothered me, I called the insurance company who I was up under, TRICARE, and they said, "Well, listen, you're going to have to get a new policy for your daughter." I said, "She's not 26. I said, "I heard you're supposed to be able to stay on it." No, that's for people who not government retired. And I said, "What are you saying, not government?" He said, "I said, well, Congress, their children can stay on." He said, "Yes, Congress can do it. Even the employees of Congress can do it." I said, "But I spent 20-some years in the military. I could have given my life over there. Some of these people never have put on a uniform. But it doesn't matter. You have to follow the rule." And I'm saying, how in the world what authorized these people who've been voted to represent us to go up there and do and put? Oh yeah, and I get a little upset when I think about this.
I understand.
And I think about my. I had a business once. Before I got on this walking cane, I had a business, and people would come and ask me, and I'm applying this to the same thing Congress is doing. They'll sit there and tell you how much they're helping you and looking out for you, but all the time they're looking out for themselves. I was living in about a 1,400 square foot house at the time, and my business, I would be foundations and cement, and I would go out and do. And person that's putting in a 6,000, 7,000 square foot house want me to do it. And the first thing they tell me is, "Well, can you give me a break on the break?" I said, "Well, why do you want me to give you a break? I'm living on a 1,400 square foot house. You don't think my wife and kids want me to do better so I can move them into a better position too?" But I think the same way about Congress. They'll sit there and they'll say, "Okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. It's election time. I'm going to have a fish fry. Y'all come on down here and get a couple pieces of fish and you vote for me." But what do you do?
You know what?
After you get out of it. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I know I'm going a little long. So that's about all I had to say anyway. Okay.
Willie, that is really awesome. But that's what these elected people do. They get into office. It's rules for thee and not for me. They're on their own program. They make sure that they carve out their little niches and niches to make sure that they get all the goodies. They're not worried about all the other constituents out there. They're making sure that they get theirs and they're going to be all right. And that's what makes this whole situation in Texas so infuriating to many of us is they should be sitting there doing their job.
Right.
And they're not.
Right. They're not doing, and they need to be fired.
Yeah.
That's all I can say is they just need to be. So listen, I'm giving you 2 days to get back home and come in this office to vote. And if you don't worry about coming back.
Well, I think that's what Texas is doing between Ken Paxton, the attorneys general. I think I called him the state's attorney, but the attorney generals, Ken Paxton and Governor Abbott, are doing. Brother Willie, it's always great to talk to you, my friend.
Okay, you take care and God bless.
Be blessed, brother. That was Brother Willie, always dropping pearls of wisdom. I like that. Wisdom with Willie. I think that's what we're going to do that there. So getting back to this whole Texas situation, it's having ramifications not just in Texas but in other states too. And I just love it when the show starts floating together and the lines start linking up. Listen to this. These are two really good friends talking. They're the best of pals.
Ron, they include anybody that happens to be in your state.
Well, California would lose like 5 seats if they did a fair census. And even beyond that, the Biden census gypped Florida of at least 1 seat. We only got 1 seat in the last census. Are you trying to tell me that Florida only had 1 seat in that? We should have had at least 2. Texas should have had another one. That could be the difference in the House of Representatives and the majority. So I would love for them to redo the census for 26. My legislature will redistrict those lines. We'll get it to where it's fair. But as it's right now, this country is not fairly apportioned. I've got so many more millions of people in Florida that have representation because of that flawed census.
Mr. President, I think it's going to do very well. A lot of people, I don't know if you've heard about it. It's like, it's captivated the country. Everybody wants it. It's going to get in. It's going to pass. And we're going to be Ron.
And there it is. When you have President Trump and Ron DeSantis next to each other, acting like good friends and pals, oh my goodness, it's really remarkable. I have no qualms, reservations, regrets for supporting President Trump in every time he ran. I'm proud of that. I genuinely wish Ron DeSantis didn't run this last time, only because I thought it would have been a great follow-on, but that's not the way the cookie crumbles. People can argue that Ron DeSantis is one of the best governors in the United States, and they wouldn't be wrong. He's doing a great job down in Florida, and he's leading that state to serious prosperity. Florida is rocking and rolling. So imagine if all of those illegal aliens that got accounted for in places like California, New York, and Illinois were off the ballot or off the books, and then we reapportioned the congressional seats based upon the population of Americans in America. California's set to lose 5 or 6 districts with the upcoming census. New York is poised to lose 2. Illinois is poised to lose 2. And all those new congressional seats go to places like Texas, South Carolina, Florida. Mississippi won't get one. We are plus or minus 2% of our population. We're just steady Eddie. Mississippi's great. And would I like to get one more? Sure, that'd be great. But, we are where we're at. But it's important that we never have this happen again in our country, where people who don't belong here, who come into our country illegally, get counted as Americans, because they're not. And that's not being racist, hatred, bigoted. You are not an American. You should not be getting the stuff that Americans are given to us because we were born here and this is our country. I can totally respect the grift and the hustle of trying to get to America, because we all know it's the greatest place to live on earth. And inside the United States, Mississippi is truly God's country. But that's just not how it works. The reason that America is so great is because of people like Lieutenant Colonel Brock and countless others who have gone through trials and tribulation, persecution. I mean, his own country came after him. And yet he's still able to go out and own a firearm. He's getting his 737 license back. When he's actually flying again, I just might have to hop on the plane just to take a plane ride with him. In the cabin, of course, not up front. But the point of the matter is that we are the greatest country on this earth. And yet you have people like J.B. Pritzker. You have people like Stephen Colbert. You'll have the mainstream media. And I've got so much on the mainstream media. It continues to just crumble and crumble and crumble. It's glorious. And I'm having the best time watching it and documenting it with y'all. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9. We will be right back.
Keep Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems, and now we are offering day and night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With day and night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty, and right now receive $20 off on service diagnostic fees. Call us today, 601-939-7420, mypureairconsultants.com.
Green's Tire and Auto on Ridgewood Road in Ridgeland can do it all. Is your check engine light on? Take it to Green's. Air not blowing cold anymore? Take it to Green's. Squeaky brakes, bald tires, misaligned front end? Take it to Green's. Green's Tire and Auto can do it all. Your car can operate just like new again when you take it to Green's. Green's Tire and Auto, Ridgewood Road in Ridgeland. Take it to Green's. 601-957-0201.
Hi, this is Mary Beth Hardy, owner of Flora Pharmacy. Flora Pharmacy is proud to be locally owned and operated. We believe in the power of community and personalized care. At Flora Pharmacy, we treat you like family. And for your convenience, we offer curbside service and prescription home delivery. Just pull up and we'll bring your prescriptions right to you. Can't make it to our store? Flora Pharmacy will drive it to your doorstep. Come see the best pharmacy in town today at Flora Pharmacy, where care meets convenience. Highway 49 in Flora.
Here at Lake and Glass and Tint, we've become well known for two things: window tint and windshields. Now, when it comes to window tint, you already know that we're the go-to for home, car, and office. And as always, we offer free consultations. So if you're in the need of window tint or windshields, give us a call, 601-946-1000. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram or at lakeandglassandtint.com. Lake and Glass and Tint, where quality matters.
For decades, you've known the name Martin's for good times, great food, and the best live music. Now that's happening at two locations, downtown Jackson and Livingston. Check the websites, martinslivingstonms.com and martinsdowntownjxn.com for the many special events and live music lineups. You can chill with friends on the big patio at the Livingston location and enjoy the blue plate lunches and nightly drink specials. Martin's, downtown and Livingston.
This month, UrgeVet Emergency Vets of Madison is celebrating 5 incredible years of serving your pets, and we couldn't have done it without you.
From late night emergencies to weekend worries, we've been here caring for your pets when your regular vet isn't available.
Join us in celebrating 5 years of compassion, expertise, and tail wags.
Drop by for giveaways, treats, and more, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for all the fun. Located at 15 Olympic Way in Madison, you can call us at 601-790-1918.
UrgeVet, always here when your pet needs us most.
It's time for the most fun and exciting tournament of the summer. The WYAB Floorball at the Canton Country Club. Grab your tent, your grill, and your friends, and come get rowdy at the now famous 12th hole tailgate with a live DJ, cocktails, shots, cigars, vendors, and $1,000 barbecue cook-off. This small-town community-based club with its newly renovated golf course and pool is the perfect retreat for you and your family. Call 601-859-6359 today for info on memberships, tee times, and tournament sponsorships for the WYAB Floorball, August 8th, 9th, and 10th at the Canton Country Club.
Social Security belongs to you. You work hard and pay into it. So it's only fair for you to expect to get the money you've earned to help cover living expenses and bills, and not for politicians to use as a piggy bank. That's why AARP is fighting to protect your Social Security so you get what you've earned. Learn more at aarp.org/youearnedit. That's aarp.org/youearnedit. Paid for by AARP.
And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show, and the first hour is already in the can. I'm very grateful and thankful to the official program observer for catching small little things that I do and making it better for the stream. I know you're out there. You are very much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, on this program, I rarely make errors, but when I do, I have to own it. And I think that's part of the respect that we have, mutual respect that we have for each other. You know that if I say something silly or screw something up, I'm going to own it. And I have to say, I said today was August the 8th when it's August the 7th. And you know what? I know I did it. I changed the date setting myself instead of putting it in the traditional military, 07 AUG 25, I somehow put it into 8725, the slashes, and it's got me all confuzzled and confused. And I'm just saying, I screwed that up. Look, these Democrats who are fleeing to these other states to try to stop the will of the people, one of two things is going to happen. Well, there's actually one. No matter what, this is going to get passed, but it's just going to depend on how much pain they actually want to put themselves through. Under Texas law, state representatives can be removed by the state's attorney or the attorneys general. There has to be a waiting period. There has to be a call to come back to the state to vote. There has to be a certain time limit, and then the state's attorney can already do that. And the Democrats are going to be out of luck because they're going to be removed from office. They're going to have new elections to have those people come in. And while we're waiting for that, it changes the quorum. It changes the entire rule of how many people are needed to actually conduct the business for the people of Texas. We had that happen one time. It was by no plan of either party, but our county supervisors, Illinois is weird. We had 24 of us for one county, 24. And you know what? We did not have enough for a quorum. We only had 4 Democrats in the whole thing anyway. But there were a bunch of Republicans who were on business or on vacation or just otherwise couldn't make it. And we had to submarine the whole meeting. People were ticked. Not we as representatives, we were upset that we could do the people's business, but there were constituents out there who were observing us and expecting to be able to speak and do it. And we could not even hold public comment. I remember me and someone who I did not get along with very well at all, but we both said, look, we got to go out there and let these people vent on us. And she agreed. And we went out there. And to be fair, this person, she was not a nice person to be around, but she went out there and I went out there and 1 or 2 others went out there and the people were able to be heard. But that's just the problem that we have. That's just the problem that we have when you don't get a quorum. You can't do business legally at all in any way, shape, matter, form, nature, or relationship. So good things are coming with this. I'm excited to see where this is going to go. I genuinely believe at the end, Texas will get 5 new seats. Ohio and Florida will quickly come behind, and we'll start really changing this country for the better, getting us set up for down the road when we have to do the heavy lifting. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB.
CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. President Trump proclaimed on social media that billions of dollars would flow into the U.S. because of his tariffs. New levies have taken hold today, affecting dozens of countries. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Investors seem to be taking the tariffs in stride, focusing instead on the ability for companies to continue to make money during this period of time, especially those technology companies that are spending on artificial intelligence.
CBS's Kelly O'Grady.
The president saying if companies commit to manufacturing in here, they could avoid that tariff. That's a really important point. It's essentially pay to play.
Russia continues to push for a Putin-Trump meeting, but CBS's Natalie Brand reports specifics and a full White House commitment to it remain elusive.
The Kremlin says that planning is in the works and even said that a location had been set but not yet announced. The White House pushing back against that, saying that no date or location has yet been set.
President Trump's expected to sign an executive order that could make it easier for 401ks and other workplace retirement plans to offer the option of allocating some savings in alternative investments. CBS's Aaron Navarro.
This order calls on the Labor Department to research and issue more guidance to employers on allowing these 401ks to be invested in other avenues, such as private equity, real estate, or cryptocurrency.
The day after the attack at Fort Stewart, Georgia, that left 5 soldiers wounded, the Army hails some heroes in the shooting blamed on Sergeant Cornelius Radford.
All 5 are expected to recover, thanks to the heroics of fellow soldiers like First Sergeant Joshua Arnold.
We rendered aid to those individuals, and shortly after EMS arrived and continued their jobs.
Army Secretary Dan Driscoll says other unarmed soldiers tackled and subdued Radford.
The fast action of these soldiers under stress and under trauma and under fire absolutely saved lives.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
On the Health Watch, Eli Lilly says it has a first-of-its-kind pill to help people with diabetes and weight loss. Medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder says it could be a breakthrough for patients who use injectable drugs like Wegovy and Zepbound.
In their phase 3 clinical trial, what they called Attain-1, people who took the highest dose of orforglipron, this is the pill form of these medications, they lost an average of 27 pounds over 72 weeks. And that's really on par with what we see with the injectable forms of these drugs.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 300 points. The NASDAQ is higher. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Do you know how America became the best country on God's green earth? We made things, from automobiles to airplanes to textiles. We were the manufacturing epicenter of the world, the innovators that every other country turned to. I'm Katie Lyon, co-founder of Allegiance Flag Supply, and I'm here to tell you that the American spirit is alive and well at Allegiance, where we make American flags 100% in America. When you fly your American flag from Allegiance Flag Supply, you're not just honoring our country, you're supporting American men and women who proudly make the highest quality American flags, period. True patriots who put care into every stitch. See our full story at showallegiance.com and learn about our 100% American-based supply chain. Fly your flag from showallegiance.com with pride, because every flag says manufacturing is still alive and well in the U.S. and we are still the greatest country. Save $35 on your American flag set when you go to
News and weather brought to you this hour by Flora Animal Hospital, where we treat your pets like our own. Visit our website, floraanimalhospital.com.
Why Thalia Mara Hall is not back. 92 is the high with a 20% chance for an afternoon storm. Mostly clear and 72 tonight. Friday 93 and a 20% afternoon storm chance. You've got news on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis. Thalia Mara Hall can't reopen yet, says Mayor John Horn. It still needs a new fire curtain, which is on the way, some asbestos removed, and even though the elevators and escalator are working, there's a problem.
We're still not in ADA compliance because the elevators were built long before ADA compliance was the order of the day.
But the repairs are being made.
We found the $350,000 to make those additional repairs.
And 7 Broadway shows are already planned, he says. Meanwhile, Horn says he doesn't want Jackson Water customers to have to pay more, but Jackson Water is out of operational money, so they are looking at ways to fix that. Off-duty cop Jason Blake was shot and killed Tuesday by a jealous man named Clay Polk, who shot and killed himself in Pike County with a shotgun after also shooting and wounding the woman who was the object of the love triangle. That happened about 3 p.m. on Cole Thomas Road. The woman is in the hospital but is expected to survive. A woman from Shelby was killed in Bolivar County Wednesday morning when the Lincoln MKZ she was driving on Highway 32 was hit by an 18-wheeler headed south on 61. She was ID'd by the Highway Patrol as 46-year-old Vonta Dorsey. A kid who apparently thought he could get away from Capitol Police led them on a chase downtown Tuesday evening, but when things stood in the juvenile's way, a building, which he hit on a mitt. That person was taken to the hospital. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressed.
And here we are on the Andrew Gosser Show. We are off and running in hour number 2. Today is August 7th, 2025. It's a Thursday, and we are still streaming on Rumble. We're still streaming on X. We're still streaming on YouTube. And we're even streaming on that social media platform that begins with a F, but we don't like saying the name because they like censorship. And of course, you can always listen to WYAB at any time at WYAB.com, day or night. There's no playback, there's no recordings, but you can always get the live feed. So it's really cool. I've actually listened to them all over in London when we were on that trip. Great times. Look, we are still equipping the saints on a daily basis. We're giving you the information and knowledge that you need to be out there and go talk to people. So that way, when they come up and they're all up in their feels and their anger and they're all emotional, you can be calm, cool, and collected, having sound judgment in mind. You can go say what needs to be said. You know, it's that gentle answer that's going to bring somebody around. Yet we have people out there who are throwing those grenades, flamethrowers, jumping into pool when everybody's chill, throwing the snowballs. Not good, not good. There's a lot more to the census stuff that's just really kind of overflowed my flood of news stories today. The mainstream media is absolutely fit to be tied. They're so angry that Trump is doing this, but there's a great story out there, and I just want to make sure I have it. This is from Adweek, and I will go ahead and copy this and post this to X as we talk about it. It is not looking good. So out of the top 15 shows on cable news, Fox News has 14 of the top 15 spots. Only one spot, the 10th spot, it is by someone other than Fox, and that's the Rachel Maddow show. And it is not even funny because Rachel Maddow, even though her name is on the show 5 days a week, she only hosts the show 1 day a week, getting paid something like $19 million. How would you like to work 1 day a week for $19 million a year? Is there anybody in this listening audience that would not take that deal? Adweek is an absolute must-go-to website if you're interested in what the news is doing, because there's all sorts of different numbers out there. You've got the aggregate, which is all the listeners, and then the demo. And the demo, that's what people really care about. Those are adults aged 25 to 54. That's who the advertisers believe are going to spend the money. They're not really considered with people who are older or younger than that. And the numbers are just ridiculous. Fox News, 2.4 million viewers, cable news rating. MSNBC, 865,000. CNN, a paltry 497,000 viewers. And that's the overall aggregate for the day. Think about that. CNN only getting 497,000 viewers a day. And all that money that's going into production, all of those assistants, those news, that's their news bureaus around the world. This is CNN. Spending all that money and only getting 497,000 viewers daily. But it's worse. Wow, that's pretty interesting. But it's worse. Fox News, in the demo, 257,000 people a day inside the demo watching Fox News. MSNBC, See? Only 81,000 people. So when you're spending that money on MSNBC, you're targeting those 81,000 people. And CNN, even though they have a less aggregate, they're slightly more at 92,000. So this bodes very good news for people who look to other sources to consume their information and news information. That's why places like WYAB are doing so well. That's why online newscasters are doing very well. It's funny because I was looking and they're starting to track this locally too. And it's sad to me actually to see that even our local news media are completely tanking. And there are new places stepping up to the plate to cover that gap. Jackson Jambalaya, Magnolia Tribune, Dark Horse Press. There are even groups out there on certain social media platforms that only go to their own sources. They don't want to go to the big sources for news anymore because they know they're biased. They know they're fake. They know they're corrupt. And every time we get a chance to further expose the mainstream media, we're going to do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the mainstream media is not dead, but it's going down. And let's be honest about it on the Andrew Gosser program. I have to be truthful about it. Do I use news clips from MSNBC and CNN? Yes, because it's so horrifically bad and so beautifully illustrates the points that we tried to make as conservatives. You have to use it. The Abby Phillips lady on CNN, without Scott Jennings, that show is even further off the rails than it already is. These liberal echo chambers where they're all talking to each other and talking past each other. And people will say, and I had one of these people text in the other day. I didn't get to read his message and I regret that now, but he goes, "You're just in a conservative echo chamber. You're not, you're just like the liberals." And what I would say is, on the surface, brother, you would be right. It just seems that conservatives run in conservative circles, liberals run in liberal circles, and then there's the rest of us in the middle. Well, I am in the middle. But I run and seek out points of view that don't necessarily agree with me. And then I try to figure out, how would I debate this person on a stage to make it happen? How would I go into this argument? And you know what? It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time to sit there and do that. And that's what makes the really great public personas out there, the people who are doing this on a daily basis, either on a podcast or on a news stream or whatever. That's what makes them really good, is they can crunch all that data really quick. And people just gravitate to that because they see that happening. Getting back to the CNBC, Trump orders new census that might exclude undocumented immigrants. He's already talked to the U.S. Commerce Department, who oversees the census, and that is really going to be what's interesting to me. Is this going to end up being another way to identify where illegal immigrants are camping out, where we send in ICE? And the Democrats, that'll just fire you up even more. I get it. My goal isn't to fire you up. I just point things out. And if you get fired up on it or triggered, that's on you. It's not on me. Trump proclaims people who are in our country illegally will not be counted in the census. And he's already having the Commerce Department draw up the rules for a census starting next year. My gosh. And what I think this is going to happen, and this was stated elsewhere, I am not sure that they will completely start reorganizing congressional districts after the census in 2026, but I'm sure they're going to use it as a baseline for 2030. It has to be done. What happened to America in the advent of woke and COVID is like a 1-2 attack, wokeness and COVID. And yet we're still here. We're still standing by the grace of God. We need to make sure that we always keep him in the forefront of what we're doing. If we do that, we're going to do well. So the new census is coming. And here's another thing that's happening. Remittances to Mexico plummet 16.2% in June. What remittances are where there are people, Mexicans, who are living in America either legally or illegally. They make all this money up here in America and then they ship it home. You know, these people come to America because it's the best place to live on earth. They know they're getting a good deal. They make a bunch of money. They live well below their means. And then they send all that money home. And after 5 or 6 years, they have all this money saved up and they can go live in Mexico very well because the dollar is so strong down there. But those remittances have dropped by 16.2%. And this is coming from Mexico News Daily. The amount of money Mexico receives in remittances fell 16.2% annually in June, the largest year-to-year decline for any month in more than a decade. You think that ICE is having an impact on them? Do you think that ICE is having an impact on illegal immigration into the United States? Analysis partially attributed the sharp decline of fear of going out to work among Mexicans in the United States, where the U.S. government is pursuing an aggressive deportation agenda. We have to defend our borders and our culture. It goes back to Omar Ilian, who flies the Palestinian flag, and that congressman from Florida who shows up to work in Israeli defense uniform. I'm just going to be here cutting it straight 100 with you. Both of those people need to be gone. I realize that some people have moved to America and, you know, they were in a different foreign army, but they're Americans now, and that's what you are. Am I proud of my Hungarian and Czechoslovakian blood heritage? Absolutely. Am I going to start waving their flags? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We are Americans. And, you know, I really get this, too. I really get this because this happened to me in the military. You know, I was in the Navy since I was 16. Loved it. But I went to the Air Force. And you know what? I was loyal to the Air Force. But were there times that I still felt certain customs traditions from the Navy? Yep. But it took me so long to let go of that because now it was all about integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. Do I still have honor, courage, and commitment? Yes, I have. Do I still enjoy wearing some Navy swag every now and again? Yep. But make no mistake about it, I am an honorably retired United States Air Force captain. And I am part of the world's greatest Air Force. And I can't go back to the Navy times. I treasure them, the friendships that I have with my shipmates. Man, that's awesome. But once you're moving on, you're moving on. And you keep on trying to cling on to the stuff if I kept on trying to cling on to the stuff that I clinged on to in the Air Force and the Navy, that would completely destroy what the Air Force was trying to get out of me. And I still chuckle about it because the United States Air Force still sent me to the United States ship Nimitz to go work out a problem. So I thought, I'm never going back to the boat. Woohoo! 3 cruises out in America, done, out. Hey, Captain Gosser, you're going to Nimitz. Awesome. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. When we get back, we're going to have Miss Mary Jo Perry. She's going to be coming on the air talking about the great things that MPBR and Conservative Coalition of Mississippi they're doing. We need to get the word out. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB.
.9 WYAB.
Would you like the convenience of a sunglass clip that fits your eyeglass frame? Hi, it's Bruce from Eye Gear Optical, and I've heard you asking, so I stocked up on them. Come choose from our selection of Revolution eyewear frames with magnetic sun clips at fantastic prices. For about the same price as a regular eyeglass frame, you can have the best of both worlds while they last. Come see me and I'll customize a pair just for you at Eye Gear Optical, 2630 Highway 80 East in Pearl, and on the web at eyegearoptical.com.
Whether new construction or remodeling, Stephen Arrington and his team at Elite Custom Construction can design and build your dream kitchen and cabinets, inside and outside. Using high-quality products, Elite Custom Construction specializes in cabinetry and intricate millwork. Established in 2011, licensed and insured, Elite Custom Construction is your solution to your next project. Call Stephen at 601-927-0552 or visit them online at elitecustomconstruction.net.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
You can show your pride and patriotism in honor of the 250th birthday of this great nation by proudly flying a flag. And a complete flag source on I-55 in Jackson is the place to find it. All sizes for all purposes. And they have the official 250-year celebration flag. Have a look at CompleteFlags.com. That's CompleteFlags.com.
So when are you going to check that thing off your to-do list?
Right, that. I don't know. How about next week?
How about now?
Or I could do it later, right?
No more putting it off. Do it now so you don't forget. You want this and have for a while.
You're right. I want this.
You deserve this, and it can help you in the long run. There, I just logged on to homescc.edu. We're getting you registered right now.
Wait. Hold up. I thought you had to show up on site to register at Homes.
You can do either one. You know that career you talk about all the time? The life you dream about? It starts today. How does that famous quote go?
Don't. Please don't.
The secret to getting ahead is
getting started.
Fall classes start August 18th, and we don't do Fridays at Homes. Register at a campus near you Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 3:30, or right now at homecc.edu. And when you come to Home CC, your tuition could be free with a 20 on your ACT.
Homes Community College.
no place like Homes.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
Peace, love, and pizza. It's Collie Days at Johnny's Pizza House. Load up the crew and hit the road with nothing but good vibes and better pizza. It's all about that crunchy new cauliflower crust.
Hey, Miss Mary Jo, you there?
Bliss. Light, crispy, and
All right,
full
we're
of
at
flavor.
last
It's
part of the commercial break, and we're going to come right to you, okay?
Best enjoyed with sunshine and good
Awesome.
company. Nothing but love served one slice at a time. But don't wait. This trip's for a limited time only. Peace, love, and pizza. Happy Collie Days from Johnny's Pizza House.
Oh, yeah. We are back on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. You know, there are people out there who talk a good game, but they really don't get anything accomplished out there. Well, we are blessed to be joined on the phone by Mary Jo Perry, who just doesn't talk the talk. she walks the walk. Every one of you parents out there who don't have to have your kids vaccinated to send them to a public school, you can thank this lady right here. Miss Mary Jo, thank you so much for coming on the show. How you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
You work so hard, and I see it, and I just want to give you the opportunity to come on and tell us about how's MPBR doing, first of all.
Well, we're doing good. We, after our big federal court win in 2020 that got Mississippi a religious exemption for children to attend school from routine vaccines, there was sort of a lull. You know, we all kind of drew a breath. We were kind of battle worn, and you know, it'd been a really long journey to get to that point. And but when Secretary Kennedy originally joined Donald Trump in the fall, we decided we were going to pivot a little bit and align with the MAHA movement. So we are gearing up to introduce some bills this coming session that are, related to food and food freedom and health and things like that. So we're pretty excited about it. I'm working with Commissioner Andy Gibson on that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Banning junk foods from SNAP benefits, things of that nature. And then when we had all the lockdowns and everybody was losing their jobs with the COVID vaccine, as you know, that's when the conservative coalition was born, because then, the adults started coming to me saying, what do I do? I'm being forced to take a vaccine and, I'm going to lose my job. And we started organizing locally, and then it turned into Take Mississippi Back. It'll be 4 years, I think, in October that we've been meeting at Riverside Church in Flowood. And we cover, issues where we have interest in issues other than just medical freedom. And one of our meetings, our first meeting to kick off the fall, is tonight.
Yep.
And so we're pretty excited about that. Also, you were asking about MPBR. We endorsed a couple of candidates in this special election Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
And had a fantastic success, a landslide in Senate District 42 with Don Hartness, who is now our senator. I've known Don for goodness since probably 2013. Great man. I'm really excited that he took the initiative to step up and run for office, and appreciate him wading into the swamp, because he's one of us. He's a conservative, and he's honest, and he's not going to be bought off, and he's not concerned with fitting in when he goes to Jackson, but getting things done for the people. And then in Senate District 44, we had challenged Chris Johnson. Patrick Lott is who we endorsed, and while Patrick did not win, he really gave Chris Johnson a scare. And, MPBR sent out over 13,000 text blasts to that district the night before the election. We really feel like, that helped him. Of course, we donated to his campaign. But Chris Johnson is a sock puppet of the pharmaceutical and medical industry in Mississippi, and does not like to be held accountable by his constituents. When he's held accountable, he threatens to sue people when they ask him to vote a certain way on bills. He doesn't like it. And he's very corrupt. So this was a warning shot. And I have not talked to Patrick since the election, but I'm hoping that he'll come back again in a year and a half when the general elections are, and primary Chris Johnson again. But that was a big victory in 42. And I'm satisfied with the fact that Patrick Lott got 46% of the vote in District 44.
Wow.
Because that's significant for a first-time candidate coming out against an incumbent.
It is. And not only that, Miss Mary Jo, but a lot of people don't know this about Don Hartness, but the first time he ran, he lost. He actually didn't win his Senate race back just 2 years ago. And when it redistricted, he just stepped up to the plate, won again, and he won. And he's a winner.
Right.
And he's going to be so great up there. It sounds so good when I listen to you talk, Miss Mary Jo, about Secretary Kennedy and all the good stuff. Really
feels good to say it.
Yeah. So I've just read in my show prep that 6 states have already edited what they're going to allow SNAP to actually purchase. How are you planning to? Are you just going to take like a bill from? I think it's Utah. Are you just going to cut and paste that and?
We actually did. We looked at Utah. We looked at Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at some different states. Mississippi has one of the shortest legislative sessions, and they don't get to hear all the bills that are introduced. But my hope is that this is a big enough issue, and it's in the media enough right now that it'll have the attention that it needs. Nobody needs to be giving their children Coca-Cola anyway. And I've been to the grocery store in the past years ago, and I took pictures, and I tried to dig and do some research and find out who this candy company was, and maybe they were somebody's brother-in-law. But there was one of those little spinning racks, and at the top it said EBT eligible, and it had these little clear plastic packets of garbage for children. It had, the kind of cheap stuff that you would get out of a gumball machine, like a plastic ring, a bracelet, a party blower, and then a few Skittles.
Wow.
Or M&Ms or something like that. And our tax dollars should not be funding that.
Yep.
That's corrupt. We shouldn't be buying toys and garbage for children. The SNAP benefit should be nourishing children and making the next generation healthier, not wasting money and making them sicker. So, that's something that I've kind of had my eye on for a while. So I'm very happy to see that, that I think there's like 12 states now that have gotten a waiver for SNAP benefits to ban, junk food and Cokes and things like that. So I think that needs to happen here in Mississippi. Our children are not the healthiest. And sadly, a lot of us live in a food desert.
Yep.
Where there's not access to healthy produce, and there's a lot of dollar stores everywhere, and people are kind of dependent on those to feed their families.
That's one of the things that makes the Conservative Coalition of Mississippi and Mississippi Parents for Vaccinations Rights so powerful, is because we are activated and motivated. So if you like what Miss Mary Jo is talking about editing what can be bought on SNAP and EBT, it behooves you to not just get involved with Conservative Coalition or MPVR, but to actually get to know your state rep and your state senator, to let them know that this is something that you're watching. And it's a long game. Politics is a long game. We've got to play it. So what's happening with Conservative Coalition tonight? I believe we got something going on tonight.
Yeah. So, we usually have lots of political stuff, and I've been dealing a lot with dementia and Alzheimer's and elderly family members, and a very good friend of mine, Randy May, who was very involved in the Tea Party years ago, had kind of checked out for a while. He's a veteran as well. And he had been taking care of his wife with Alzheimer's for, it's been a few years. She had early onset, and her mother passed away from the same. And so he took care of her valiantly, all the way to the end, and chronicled it on social media, with all of the ugly details to raise awareness about Alzheimer's and dementia. But while he was caring for her, he did a deep dive on food and what's causing Alzheimer's and dementia and the rise in it. And he, it's kind of like us moms with the vaccine issue. I'll sit across from a doctor any day because I've learned that, and discuss vaccines, because I've learned that they don't read the inserts, the prescribing information. They don't read the studies. What they do is they parrot the talking points of the authorities like the CDC. And a lot of times those talking points have nothing behind them.
Nope.
It's just they're marketing points. And so, they say a mother, a worried mother does better research than the FBI. Well, Randy did some amazing research while his wife was sick. And I believe, I don't know, and maybe he'll talk about this tonight, but he also had cancer.
My goodness.
And healed himself with food. But he has learned that diet is the standard American diet is what's making everyone sick. And so he's going to come talk to us tonight about, why is food making us sick? How is it making us sick? Which foods are making us sick, and what we need to do, to secure our health going forward, because, the trend is going up. If you're 55 years or older in the United States, you are currently at a 42% increased risk to have Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yep.
And that's rising. And then, metabolic disorders and autoimmune disorders, and it all goes back to food.
Yeah.
So he's going to come talk to us about that. and I'm really excited about it. It's something I'm personally passionate about. I've got celiac disease, which is a gluten intolerance, a severe gluten intolerance. And, and through that, I've learned a good bit as well. And, talking to Randy, it's obvious that he knows what he's talking about. And I was sharing with Randy about my dad who has dementia, and he had been on diabetes medication, 2 of them. He's been diabetic for probably 25 years, and he's also been on blood pressure medication pretty much his whole life. And up until about a year ago, he was on 2 diabetes medications and 3 blood pressure medications. And while he was here at my house, after he broke his arm and I was taking care of him and my sister, we changed his diet. And it wasn't, too long after that his A1C came down like 2 full points. They took him off of his diabetes medication, and his blood pressure corrected, and we took him off of all of his blood pressure meds, and his dementia plateaued. And the agitation went away. So people don't really realize how much food plays a role in our health. And so that's what Randy's going to talk to us about tonight.
That is awesome. Where's that going to be located at?
It's going to be at Riverside Church in Flowood. It's that cute little white church on the corner of Luckney and Cooper Road, where it's a little white church with a steeple. Everybody that goes through there admires this cute church. 1127 Luckney Road is the address. We're going to start at 6:30 for anyone who'd like to come.
That sounds awesome, Mary Jo. And they also, Conservative Coalition of Mississippi has a website. It's conservativems.com. It's a great website.
Yes.
Mary Jo, I really appreciate all you're doing, not just for people in Rankin County and the local communities, but everything you're doing for the state. You're moving and grooving, and we're grateful to have you. Thank you so much.
Well, it's a great journey, and especially when I have people along the way like you, Andrew, and I really appreciate you as well.
Mary Jo, you're the best. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thanks.
Take care, everybody. All right. That was Mary Jo Perry. I was about to say take care, everybody. No. That was Mary Jo Perry, MPVR, Conservative Coalition. They've got a great event tonight. I've tweeted it out on X. It's on my Facebook page. If you've got the time tonight to go to educate yourself, that's great. We are going to equip this commercial break. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Hi.
Or a German BMW, it gets a little bit more expensive.
Russia's proposed the United Arab Emirates as a spot for a possible Putin-Trump meeting. The BBC's Steve Rosenberg in Moscow.
We've been talking for the last few days about American deadlines to Russia to end the war. Donald Trump's latest deadline supposedly running out on Friday. And yet we've moved from that to talking about, well, let's have a summit.
The U.S. Army pays tribute to a handful of soldiers who corralled the shooter who wounded 5 yesterday at Fort Stewart, Georgia.
Once the shooter was identified and a threat was identified, we had soldiers that immediately raced and tackled that soldier.
Motive for the attack still not clear. CBS News Brief. I'm Steve Kathan.
Are you a wine enthusiast?
Are you looking for the perfect bottle to elevate your next dinner? The ultimate destination for wine lovers is 042 Wine and Spirits on West Government Street in Brandon. They're locally owned, they're locally operated. 042 Wine offers something for everyone, from local favorites to rare vintage wines. 042 Wine and Spirits can help you find your next favorite wine. The friendly and knowledgeable folks at 042 Wine and Spirits will help you find the perfect bottle for every occasion. 042 Wine and Spirits, located on West Government Street in Brandon.
Y'all come see us at Flora Animal Hospital, your trusted hometown vet. We offer a wide variety of veterinary services, including boarding. Dr. Kaylee McCary is a Madison County native who has been serving the Flora community and surrounding areas since 2013. She leads our team of highly trained and compassionate women. We are located at 740 Highway 49 in the Cotton Exchange Plaza. Call us today at 601-879-3222. At Flora Animal Hospital, we treat your pets like our own.
Looking to elevate your ride? Weston Automotive and Rick's Pro Truck have you covered. From rugged bumpers to sleek step bars, Weston's top-notch accessories will transform your truck into a head-turner. And at Rick's Pro Truck, we specialize in custom installations that bring your vision to life. Visit us today for expert advice and unbeatable deals. Weston Automotive and Rick's Pro Truck, where your truck's potential comes alive. Weston and RPT. Trucks live here.
Venable Glass is your local glass expert, offering residential, automotive, and commercial glass. Venable Glass can do it all. What sets Venable Glass apart from the rest? Unmatched reliability and customer service. Don't forget, tell your insurance company that you want to use Venable Glass. And remember, you do have a choice. Let Venable Glass work hard to earn your business. Call Venable's Ridgeland or Brandon locations today for a free estimate or visit venableglass.com.
And welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. It's a great day to be a Democrat in the state of Mississippi. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, if for nothing more than pure entertainment value and value alone, go follow the Mississippi Democratic Party. Because not only do they post just some outlandish stuff, but sometimes they prove the Republicans right and they don't even realize it. And they make the argument for us, which is what happened today. And this is covered in the Magnolia Tribune, Brother Russ Letourneau's organization. The Mississippi Democratic Party got mad about school choice, then unwittingly made it the case for it. And the tweet speaks for itself. I just want to read the tweet. Got it right here. The Mississippi Democratic Party tweets this: Pell Grants go to students, not directly to colleges. Just like food stamps go to people, not to grocery stores. There's a difference between public funds that empower individuals and public dollars headed to private institutions with no oversight. That's the whole point. And then what's really awesome is the chairman of the Republican Party for Mississippi, Mark Hurst, jumps in and just states the fact. The slogan actually is objectively dumb because, as the Magnolia Tribune reports out the article, public money already goes to the private entities. We're just giving the money to the parents and not the administrators. There's not one person listening to this radio station right now or this stream that does not believe that parents can make a better choice for their child than some public administrator in some school district somewhere. How many of you would put your child into Jackson schools right now? If you could go right there and just transfer and you get to take your $4,000 that follows your child and you can just give it to Jackson. Would you want to do that? Nope. What's even more glorious about this entire situation is that the Democrats, once they realized how silly and stupid they were, they deleted the tweet. But the internet is forever. And I highly recommend that anybody who sits there and follows Democrats to try to catch them in their nefarious ideology, you go ahead and you save those tweets. Because the Democrats are going to delete it. And I'm not sitting there trying to call somebody out because they misspell a word or something like that. But when they're so far off the base, and you can think about it, just like when the Mississippi Democrat Party went ahead and posted that chart that showed where all the inflation was, and then it went up 1.1 or 1% under Trump, and they complained about Trump, and then show the chart where it went up under Biden. And they still don't get it. It absolutely baffles the mind. Whoever's running the Twitter accounts or the X accounts for the Democrat Party, on behalf of the listeners and the Andrew Gosser Show, thank you. Please continue to carry on and do the silliness that you do. Help us to show that the majority in the middle, that the way that the Democrats want to lead this country is a way that's going to end up absolutely taking this country down. And we need common sense, conservative doctrine and governance that's going to lead us into the 21st century and into the 22nd and beyond. We've got a great country here in the United States of America, a representative republic, if we can keep it. Unless you're from Texas and all your liberal Democrats run to Illinois, New York, and Massachusetts because they don't want to vote, which is a whole nother subject in and of itself. Mississippi Democratic Party does not have any solutions. They only have slogans and sound bites. And that goes for any Democrat organization, slogans and sound bites. If you've watched any of the reporting on the Texas state reps going to Illinois, New York, Massachusetts, you will hear they sound great on the radio. They sound fantastic. It emotionally pulls on your heartstrings. But the truth of the matter is, their ideas make absolutely no sense and only hurt other people. They have not proposed one idea since President Trump has come into office that would actually help Mississippi or the American people. They want to give you 30 pieces of silver. And then we're all supposed to come back and say, thank you so much. Just like we talked about yesterday with this new affordable housing in Jackson, which is actually going to make housing worse. But the people who are funding those bills, those notes, oh, they're going to turn out just fine. They're going to be just fine. They're going to make a lot of money. The taxpayers are going to give it to them. And all the politicians will be patting themselves on the back. Oh, look at what we did for affordable housing. Look at what we did for this. We've got to get to the point to where not only do we see what the Democrats are doing, but then actually responding to them. And that includes reaching out to your local state reps and state senators. You can reach out to your congressmen and U.S. senators. That's fine. But it's just been, in my personal view, and my professional opinion as a recovering politician, the better relationships you have with your county supervisors, your school board districts, your state reps and state senators, the better off you're going to be. And today is the best time to go out and reach out to them when nothing's going on, when they're not being bombarded with thousands of different things, and your name will stick out in their brain. That way, when we decide that we're going to try to go ahead and fix EBT and SNAP, they will remember you. And hopefully you will have your own brigade of troops that you can call up and say, hey, we're going to talk to our representative today. Would you just, between today and Friday, give them a call, write them a note, let them know this is what we want? Better yet, you really want to be a high achiever, a fast burner, the special forces of the Mississippi Republican Party. Host a coffee with your state rep at your house and invite all your neighbors over and say, hey, we want to have you over to speak to our group. We've got about 30 people in our neighborhood who would like to. You see how quick he comes. You don't even have to pay her money. She gets a chance to talk to 50 of her constituents, and she doesn't have to do any of the work to put the meeting together. Come on now. Now you're cooking with gas, peanut oil. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show. We've got one last commercial break. We will be right back.
For over 15 years, A1 Gear and Auto has been your hometown specialist for your auto repair and maintenance needs. From brake repair to placement to radiators, engines, starters, alternators, heat, and AC water pumps, and more, A1 will get your vehicle back up and running and on the road and in a timely manner. A1 is one of the only shops in the metro that specializes in rear differentials, rear ends, and rings and pinions. Call today to set up an appointment, or if you got questions, at 601-939-1060. A1 Gear and Auto, your hometown vehicle specialist.
If you ever been stuck on the side of the road with engine trouble or because of an accident, you know how frustrating that can be. I'm Chad Stevens of Chad Stevens Record Service. We'll help take some of the stress out of this stressful situation. We've been rated by AAA as one of the top 10 towing services in the entire USA. Why? Well, just ask our customers. So keep our number in your cell phones and call us if you need us. 662-755-8645. That's Chad Stevens Record Service. 662-755-8645.
Get the jump on the season at the number one stop for all your boating and custom water sports needs, Smith Marine. Press pontoons are here. Come experience luxury and style with a 90-day, no payment, no interest financing option with approved credit. Plus a 1-year CTO membership, free cover, free Bimini top, and free inflatable tube. And these crests are pre-rigged with Suzuki motors and Suzuki's industry best warranty. Smith Marine also buys quality pre-owned boats with consignments and trade-ins on the res in Ridgeland and at smithmarinesales.com.
It's time to put a little more sizzle in your red-hot Mississippi summer at Mazda of Jackson. Drive away on your road trip with a boost from Mazda of Jackson's $1,000 off owner loyalty reward and low 1.9% financing on a 2025 CX-90, CX-70, and the Assembled in America CX-50. And take advantage of the pre-tariff inventory before it's gone. It's time to choose Mazda. Shop online at MazdaofJackson.com or visit Mazda of Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road in Jackson.
Your roof is constantly exposed to the elements, battling dirt, algae, and stains. But with Watkins Construction and Roofing Roof Wash Service, you can keep it looking like new. A proprietary rooficide treatment is EPA approved, safe, and guaranteed to prevent algae from coming back for at least 2 years. No harsh chemicals, no damage, no black streaks. Just a clean, beautiful roof that lasts. Call Watkins Construction and Roofing at 601-966-8233 or visit nomoreroofstains.com today.
Hey, this is Ben Ingram from the Braves Radio Network. We're in commercial right now, so I want to let my sister take over and tell you about Hometown Property Group.
Thanks, Ben. This is Mary Claire Putman with Hometown Property Group. Whether you're buying or selling, we are committed to guiding you through your real estate transaction with integrity, exceptional service, and remarkable results. Madison County has been my home for 40 years. I'd love to help make it yours, too.
That's Hometown Property Group. Give them a call at 601-853-6080.
Have you been injured through no fault of your own? Do you know your rights? Don Evans does. Do you really believe that the insurance company would disclose all information to you? Don Evans will make sure that you are fully informed. It costs nothing to discuss your case. From car wrecks to malpractice, Don Evans will make you and your family whole again. Don Evans won't ever charge unless he collects for you. Call Don for a free no-obligation consultation at 601-969-2006.
Hello, I'm Gary Jolly from the Tractor Store. LS Tractor understands your passion for the land, and just like you, LS Tractor is committed to excellence and superior products. LS Tractor comes with a long list of standard features that are unmatched by other brands and backed with the LS commitment to provide exceptional customer service and satisfaction. You get a lot more for your money with the LS Tractor. Come to the Tractor Store in Richland to experience the LS difference. The Tractor Store in Richland.
And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB, streaming on Rumble, streaming on X, streaming on YouTube, streaming on that social media platform that begins with a F, but we don't like to say the name. You know, when someone is completely burying themselves and just digging themselves a deeper and deeper hole, you just sit there and smile and carry on. And that is exactly what the Democrats are doing right now. They have now released a thread on X, which you cannot respond to, but you can read. And it is just the biggest moaning, whining, and complaining, saying you're taking our words out of context. No, we're not. We're not taking your words out of context. Bottom line is people can make the best decisions for themselves. Parents can make decisions for their kids, and it's going to happen every time it is. Now, I do have to say this every time I bring up school choice now. I'm calling it my Clay Edwards disclaimer because I think he's got a valid point. I'm not sure how to answer it yet, but just the fact that he's making me think about it is one thing. We can't take public school money from Jackson and put it into public school money in Rankin. If you take that money, you got to send them to a private school. Jackson Academy, Clinton Christian Academy, Tri-County Academy, Copiah County Academy. We have to do this in a way that makes sense to the parents, to the people, and ultimately helps the kids, and get rid of these administrators who are just causing mass chaos in education. It seems like the amount of teachers keeps going down and down and down, but the administrators keep on going up, up, up. That's a real big problem in Rankin County. We hear it all the time. And the thing about Rankin County, too, which a lot of people don't realize, is that school board meeting is at 7:30 in the morning. Who's got time to go do that on a Wednesday? Don't we have to be getting our kids to school? Don't we have jobs that we have to attend to? What if you are a really outstanding parent and you want to have input, but you can't go to the school board meeting because you'll get fired from your job? Should you actually go ahead and attend the school board meeting? Or even worse, you've got to take a half day of vacation because you want to attend a school board meeting. The whole system is set up to make it as hard as possible to have real input. That's why it's important to go to things like Grip and Grin and Serve Coalition meetings and Republican Party meetings. And we'll continue to talk about them within the constraints of the FCC rules that are placed upon us. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9. We'll see you in 22 hours. Take care, everybody. Be blessed.